the American West. A land of vast plains, rugged mountains, and untamed beauty. From the mid-1800s to the early 1900s, cowboys were a familiar sight. These rugged individuals were the heart and soul of the cattle industry. They drove massive herds across hundreds of miles, facing danger and hardship with grit and determination. The cowboy era was a time of immense change and expansion. The railroads were pushing westward, and the demand for beef in eastern cities was growing. Cowboys played a crucial role in meeting this demand. Their life was demanding, fraught with challenges, yet they persevered. This essay will delve into a typical day in the life of a Wild West cowboy. The rooster's crow was the cowboy's alarm clock. He would rise before the sun, often sleeping under the stars. He slept in a bedroll, a thick blanket rolled up with his personal belongings. The cowboy would quickly dress, pulling on his rough denim jeans and cotton shirt. He would then pull on his leather boots, his most prized possession. These boots protected his feet and provided a good grip in the stirrups. Breakfast was a simple affair. Usually it was coffee, bacon, and beans cooked over an open fire. The smell of coffee and sizzling bacon filled the morning air. The cowboys ate quickly, knowing a long day lay ahead. With the first light of dawn, the real work began. The cowboys would saddle up their horses and begin the day's tasks. The most important job was to move the cattle to fresh grazing areas. The cowboys worked together like a well-oiled machine. They would ride the perimeter of the herd, keeping the cattle moving in the right direction. They used a variety of techniques, including whistling, shouting, and cracking their whips. The work was dangerous. A spooked steer could easily trample a man. Rattlesnakes and other dangerous animals were a constant threat, but the cowboys were skilled horsemen and knew how to handle themselves in these situations. The midday meal was a welcome break from the long hours in the saddle. The chuck wagon, a mobile kitchen on wheels, would be waiting. It carried all the supplies needed to feed a hungry crew. The food was simple but filling. Beans, bacon, biscuits, and coffee were staples. Sometimes there would be a special treat, like a peach cobbler or a pot of stew. The cowboys ate quickly, savoring the moment of rest. After the meal, they would rest for a short time, letting their food settle. Then it was back to work, tending to the cattle and moving them ever onward. As the sun began to set, the cowboys would gather the cattle for the night. They would circle the herd, singing songs or telling stories to keep the cattle calm. This was a time for camaraderie and sharing. Once the cattle were settled, the cowboys would build a campfire. The warmth of the fire felt good after a long day. They would eat a simple supper, usually leftovers from the midday meal. After supper, the cowboys would relax. Some would play cards or dominoes, others would mend their clothes or clean their gear. As the fire died down, they would roll up in their bedrolls, the silence broken only by the sound of crickets and the distant howl of a coyote. Section 6. Tools of the trade, a cowboy's gear. A cowboy's equipment was essential for his survival and success. His most prized possession was his saddle, a sturdy and comfortable seat for long days in the saddle. He also carried a rope, a lasso used to catch cattle. His hat, a wide-brimmed Stetson, protected him from the sun and rain. He wore a bandana to protect his face from dust and dirt. His spurs, attached to his boots, gave him more control over his horse. The cowboy's clothing was designed for practicality and durability. His jeans, made of tough denim, could withstand the rigors of ranch work. His leather vest provided an extra layer of warmth and protection. Section 7. Dangers and hardships, a cowboy's challenges. Life as a cowboy was not for the faint of heart. The work was dangerous and demanding, the elements could be brutal, the pay was low, and the hours were long. The cowboys faced many dangers, from stampedes to snake bites. They endured scorching summers and freezing winters. They were often far from home, with only their fellow cowboys for company. Despite the challenges, cowboys took pride in their work. They were tough, resourceful, and independent. They played a vital role in shaping the American West. Section 8. The Cowboy's Legacy, Shaping the American West. The cowboy era may be over, but the cowboy's legacy lives on. They are etched in American folklore, symbols of freedom, adventure, and self-reliance. Their influence can be seen in music, movies, and literature. Cowboys were instrumental in the development of the American West. They helped to open up new territories, drive the cattle industry, and shape the image of the American cowboy. Their spirit of adventure and their ability to endure hardship continue to inspire people today. Section 9. Conclusion: A vanishing breed. The cowboy era may have faded into history, but the spirit of the cowboy endures. Their story is a reminder of a time when men lived and worked on the edge of the frontier. They were a breed apart, these cowboys. Tough, resourceful, and independent. They played a vital role in shaping the American West, and their legacy continues to inspire us today.